Hey guys, welcome back to Inner Peace Tarot. I am continuing with the individual sign readings with Libra. So we'll just kind of see what comes out. Get an overall theme from the Nocturna Oracle. Ooh, that's so weird. So as I was meditating on the energy, I did see a spider come through, and this sort of sense of like wanting to do the right thing. And what did come out just then as I was shuffling the tarot was the Five of Pentacles reversed with the Five of Wands. Again, with this like sense of balance. You've got the Five reversed and the Five upright. Okay, and we have Dawn reversed for the theme. Duality, cycles end. Okay, so it's like you've closed out some kind of a cycle, some kind of a karmic cycle that you've been repeating maybe for a while, maybe not, but you've become awakened to some kind of imbalance that you've been cultivating, and you're wanting to maintain a balance moving forward. I'm picking up on like a little bit of a hesitant energy, a little bit of like self-doubt around your judgment and like your ability to actually do this in a balanced way. So what is this like tension? Where is this happening? It was well intended is what I'm getting. That imbalance that was caused, it was coming from a good place, a place of wanting to repair. Maybe even like protect another person. Or do something in the interest of someone else. So if this is like an emotional sort of a thing, like a relationship around you, maybe you had a tendency to make offers or be the person to extend an invitation. And with this like little wing on this guy's foot, I feel like there was a little bit of speed involved in this. So being quick to come to someone's aid is what I'm getting. Being quick to be sort of this like guardian angel to somebody. So how did this come across to the person that Libra was dealing with? I'm hearing pressure. With the Ten of Pentacles reversed, it's almost as if, you know, Ten of Pentacles upright is a very reliable energy. But for whatever reason, they could not accept this offer or this invitation. From a place of recognizing it as reliability. It's almost like this person would feel like a debt was being created if you did extend this offer. This horse here in the sun reversed looks like it's made out of stone, like it looks like a statue. That pressure, I think, was more of like a sense of obligation. And because of this Nine of Swords as well, I feel that like this person you wanted to show up for emotionally, it's not that they didn't want to accept, because otherwise I don't think it would stress them out. I think it's seriously just that they would feel this debt come from your offer. Like if they were receptive to your gift, that they would owe you something they didn't feel they could give you. And so maybe they would go along with it and accept it against that sort of pressure they were feeling. And this like their anxiety around that pressure would come out in a really weird way later down the line. And I see that this is just very confusing for you. And again, this was well intended, so I don't think that it's a very like nobody had malicious intent here. So what does Spirit want you to do to sort of start something new, start this cycle over with a more balanced approach? Something about how you perceive guardedness in other people. Looking at the Moon, the Seven of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles. Okay, I'm seeing a church in the Seven of Cups. So again, this like doing what's right. Okay. So when you offer people things, maybe in the past there was this sort of outdated like paradigm or like mantra that you were, you know, subconsciously adhering to, where like you're giving or you're making an offer with some kind of expectation for how that person would receive it. Or what that person would do with it. And when you're giving from a truly emotionally available space, you know, there is none of that. You're just doing it from a pure, you know, no strings attached, you know, yeah, there's a huge focus here on just like rules and like going by the book and doing things the way that you were raised to do them. So maybe when you were younger, you were kind of taught and conditioned to accept gifts for, like in a certain way. And to return favors when you were given them. Which, you know, I'm not dismissing any validity behind that. But I think as far as like whatever you are manifesting into your life, as far as a new opportunity goes, when you want to show up like this 9 of Cups, it's going to be really important to release that. Release those rules that you came up on. Release that expectation that belief cultivated, to ensure that you are giving from a very pure space. I'm seeing these like strong legs on this horse. It's like that horse isn't giving anything to get anything back. It's like that horse can stand up on its own. It has everything that it needs. It's grounded. It just has the capacity to give. So it's giving. And so when we look back at this, how you perceive guardedness and how you respond to it, maybe you're worried about creating an imbalance in, you know, trying to prevent like a lack of gratitude or a lack of reciprocity. By just like not giving. So you're taking this horse, you're taking what you have to offer, and you're sort of shuffling it into a back room. Which is still a very like conditional space, right? So when Libra feels this guardedness, what would be a more balanced way to approach it than to just shut down the heart space? So first of all, I'm hearing without romanticizing this person, without this like without obliviousness to what they cannot offer you. So you want to be mindful of that. You don't want to like look at them with like sort of like the rose tinted glasses where you're like, well, maybe they'll be this, maybe they'll do that. Like, look at how they're showing up. So in this case, with a guardedness, be willing to understand that it might be coming from an interesting place, a less obvious place. I think that guardedness can be interpreted as selfishness on a surface level. I'm hearing like everyone's got their stuff. So you can still tend to them, but from a place of curiosity as opposed to, you know, this, again, romanticized admiration. Releasing the expectation that like they will somehow someday be able to show up in a particular way. And I think that'll help with like keeping your pride out of these offers that you make. Keeping your ego out of those offers. Again, yeah, go in with a focus on being curious to understand that guardedness more. Okay, because when you romanticize someone through the benefit of the doubt, and when you make a quick judgment, as opposed to approaching this person with like a curiosity, you know, there's a lot of ego in that. And I think that that is what's sort of cultivating this like karmic energy that will ultimately ask to be balanced in some way. So again, as far as doing the right thing and being balanced goes, not making the same mistake twice, you're not fully investing in someone that you do recognize is guarded and can't provide what exactly you're expecting them to. by sort of relieving them of that pressure, the pressure of your expectations. You're also relieving yourself from staying involved in hopeless situations. Whereas when you go in with like a curiosity and you get excited about conversations behind that guardedness, I'm hearing that like you'll actually be able to determine if a situation is hopeless or not. You won't be left in this like confused state when they don't respond the way that you were expecting them to, based on how you were raised or how you were taught that it was appropriate for someone to respond to an offer. You'll know exactly why they reacted the way that they did or responded the way that they did. So this is talking about vulnerability, but I think that the vulnerability, more so comes from this other person being willing to express this feeling of pressure to accept something that they feel they can't reciprocate. But then it also, you're also being vulnerable, Libra, in that you're releasing expectations and you're allowing space for someone else's truth to exist next to yours. And that way, if you do decide, I don't want to invest in this, if I can't get this back, or if they can't show up in this way, if that's too much pressure for them, then you can walk away, sure. You can walk away with clarity. Instead of that sort of confused space, well, I did this for them, so why didn't they come back with this? And when you walk away from something with clarity, you're saying no to something, right? And when you say no to something, you are holding space for something that you do want, something that you want to say yes to come through. So I think that balance is really coming from a space of clarity and not assumption. Because again, this is well intended on both sides. Like, this would be a very different reading if this is a taker that we're reading on, or, someone who takes advantage of kindness. But I don't think that that's the energy that you're dealing with. Again, this this pressure stresses them out. They want to be able to reciprocate something. But some aspect of their guardedness, which can be uncovered, as we're seeing in this judgment card. Where is it? Right here. This person is like uncovering this like coffin. There's a truth in there that will help you feel better about either walking away or, you know, or being patient if that's what you feel is the balanced thing to do. But either way, you're not just like nurturing something that you have no idea or you have no reason to believe is going to return the favor, right? So I hope this makes sense. It's very much like, again, with like the two truths existing next to each other. I'm seeing sparrows too, so, or birds that look like sparrows in the cards and in real life. So there could be a focus on the sort of spiritual meaning around that as well. But yeah, these are two very reasonable energies. So your truth is reasonable, as is theirs. But the only way to be understanding of each other is to not be presumptuous about where the behavior is coming from. Is to be vulnerable. And that is sort of what I'm getting. So hopefully, if this was your reading, it was helpful. If it was, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, comment. And we will go into the next sign.